So I take this opportunity to just welcome all of you no, to the conference. We look forward to an engaging period for the next 2 days. I want to ask very kindly that we try and show up at the conference by 9. I want to thank you for the support that you have extended by showing up. Ordinarily, this conference is arranged within 4 months, but we've had to do it in about 2 months, but we have received overwhelming support.
We are heading towards the elections in August, and a lot of members of the public will be looking up to the Law Society in light of our position and our role under Section 4 to guide in the development of the rule of law. So in light of the discussions that are going to be held in this conference, I hope that when we leave here, the kind of jurisprudence we will see developed in our courts will be jurisprudence that can propel this country to the next level. The country is watching, the country is looking at us as lawyers. And I pray that we will deliver, and what will come out of here will spur that democracy that we want to see and what the members of the public are crying out for.
At this point, really, as a law society, we call on all the political players to exercise political maturity, to avoid making reckless statements and making allegations that cannot be supported, allegations that are not credible, because all of those then create an area of suspicion. But we also call on the IEBC to recognize the unique history that this country has had with elections, and to do everything possible to give confidence to the country that it is prepared to deliver a free and fair election.
The judiciary, on its part, is committed to playing its rightful role in the election dispute resolution realm towards guaranteeing free and fair elections as spelled out in the Constitution. The judiciary, through the Judiciary Committee on Elections, JCE, where I serve as a vice chair to the Honorable Mr. Justice Mohammed Ibrahim, is cognizant of the integral and central role that courts play in guaranteeing and nurturing our democracy. And towards this end, and as part of the judiciary's election preparedness, the JCE has, since the beginning of this year, in collaboration with the Kenya Judiciary Academy and with the support of development partners and the participation of some LSK members as consultants, conducted election dispute resolution training for members of various levels of our courts.
Kindly join me in inviting our keynote speaker, Mwalimu Elisha Zebedi Ongoya. Now today, apart from being Sabasaba, is Kiswahili Language Day. Yeah, I hope you will also address us in Kiswahili. Let's welcome him.
The main theme for this year's conference is election laws. Are they anchors of democracy, rule of law, and good governance, or a recipe for chaos, obfuscation, and turmoil? As an academic, some things surrounding that theme concern me. The most important one is that that theme is in the nature of a question. As men and women who are schooled and experienced in law, we are accustomed to providing solutions to human problems. We are therefore expected to supply an answer or answers to that question at the end of this conference. Obviously, this is not an easy task. But that's the nature of our work. We have never signed up for easy tasks. I suspect we are up to the task. We shall answer that question in full time. This theme is relevant because it comes at a time when we are just 1 month and 2 days away from the date of the next general elections. Thinkers and scholars have observed that elections are essential to democracy.
I've had good discussions with the chair of the Young Bar Association, and I've listened to some of the challenges that the young lawyers are having. Someone challenged me recently when I shared some job positions at the World Bank that they felt like I was not understanding where they're coming from or the challenges that they have. And I took that as a challenge to try and understand, and I'll be sharing more with Manwa and engaging so that we see how best to fit the needs of the young lawyers. The journey of women and gender-based violence in election period is something that is a huge challenge. And also I challenge the panelists today on what are the success stories that we can share. What strategies can they share with the women here today? And also, how can they advise the women here today to support whichever candidates will be coming before them in terms of post-22 after the election? And also to introspect on what are the emerging opportunities. Post-22, once election is done and the dust is settled, we also need to ask ourselves, how can we be strategic for women to at least meet that 2/3 gender rule in other positions? How can we be strategic in aligning ourselves that women get there? Today, the two main presidential candidates are all singing women. They are both competing for this women vote. So unless we are strategic in ourselves to sit and analyze how best we can place ourselves at the fore, then we'll miss this opportunity.
We know we've come a long way about trying to implement the 2/3 gender rule, gender mainstream. It's not happening. I mean, we've gone through court. Many of you have been involved. You've gone to the courts until Parliament was going to be dissolved. Was supposed to be dissolved. I wrote an article and I said Parliament should be dissolved. And my colleagues in Parliament weren't happy about it. And I said to them, no, it has to have political consequences for the men to listen about women issues. And even my bill in Parliament on the 2/3 gender rule, what happened? It went to the second reading, and what they did, every time it was supposed to come on the schedule, they would put it on a day in the afternoon when the schedule is so busy and should be at the bottom. So each time it was moved and moved and moved, deliberately so. So it was frustrated and deliberately prevented from coming to the floor of the House by the politicians in Parliament who are anti-women. And I remember one of my colleagues, whom I respect and name withheld, said something to me that broke my heart. He said, Gladys, you know, I can vote for you. You want to run for president, you run for governor, I'll vote for you. Lakini wachana kubeba nao mama wabunge.
That was 1995 when, during the Nairobi Women's Conference. then FIDA was mooted, the FIDA Kenya chapter. And we all joined. We all joined and we said, no, the situation of women cannot continue to be this way. Of course, it wasn't just the women out there, our clientele. Even the women lawyers, we had no space. We had no space. We were just on the fringes. Young girls entering court and you are told you are not dressed properly. And you are tossed out of the court with your client. Literally tossed out on very flimsy reasons. Oh, did you braid your hair? Oh, did you do this? And I think that thing affected me so much. And I vowed one day I'll come to this judiciary and change things. You cannot be delaying justice. You cannot be delaying justice on flimsy things of the hair. This African hair is difficult. Just leave and have this hair. You know? And I said one day I'll come here and focus on important things. Not the hair. On important things where women come to court in a dignified manner and they represent their clients in a dignified manner. Not you being lumped out together with your client. And God knows the next hearing date will take another 1 year. These are women breastfeeding, they have no milk, they have no shelter, they have no nothing. And I said this joke must end. And that is how I ventured into that.
If you consider everything that is happening, it points to just how significant the discussions we are having here today are to the country. Because if you look at the newspapers, there is growing concern about the ability and the preparedness of the IEBC to deliver free and fair elections. And I think it is our duty and our responsibility to look at that process, what is going on, what the law says, and to continue engaging.
One of the ways through which we expedite the conduct of litigation, including in election disputes, is embracing greater use of technology. I must commend the progress that has been made by the judiciary and my colleagues in the legal profession in general in adopting technology in court processes. May I commend the judiciary for the launch of the electronic filing system and the introduction of virtual hearings. The potential of technology in enhancing and promoting access to justice cannot be overemphasized. The reduced costs and easy access to courts, be it physically and virtually, are critical components that address some of the major challenges that have historically undermined our people's access to justice and the expeditious dispensation of court cases.
Democratic governments have been unable to confront violent extremism, and the public has lost confidence in democratic governments in the Sahel and the Western region, and has actually welcomed these captains and majors to reclaim center space in politics. It is my view, therefore, that this is a good time for us to reflect on what is going on in the world and what it means for us in Kenya. If you look at the West, you will see the malfunction of constitutional institutions at a grand scale. Let us look at the United States Supreme Court, for example. It has, before our eyes, in the last 5 years, been packed on political grounds alone, that you cannot be nominated or appointed to the U.S. Supreme Court on any other grounds other than your political views.
Also been challenged, and the judiciary has been challenged, to seek to maintain an element of stability within the electoral rolls. So we've had also extremely engaging conversations relating to practice and the place of technology, and we hope that you found that menu enriching. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my extreme pleasure and honorable duty to invite the Honorable Chief Justice and the President of the Supreme Court, Her Ladyship Martha Koome, to make her remarks.
I challenge each one of us, each of the state agencies, as well as the voters and all citizens, play their civic role in ensuring we have peaceful, free, fair, and credible elections come the general election in August 2022 and well into the future. I don't know how we are going to cripple that power of the returning officer who declares the winner, and therefore the rest of the business can be done elsewhere. It is important to point out that the 2022 election cycle is the third cycle since we overhauled our electoral laws, principles, standards, and institutions with the enactment of our 2010 Constitution. This means that our electoral system is now consolidated, and we now have a well-trodden path with respect to electoral jurisprudence and procedures.
You are a child of God. You are playing small, and indeed as a law society, our playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were all born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it is in all of us. And so as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same.
Karibia, ringa wakuone, maidia, kutoka Bondele.
Pia kuna mawakili wengine ambao wamejiunga na sisi, waomba tu pia wasimame ili